So something happened this morning where there was a conversation with someone very close to me, and there was a form of disagreement and there was a form of offense. And because of time, one had to prepare themselves to go to work, couldn't engage further on that. So I thought to myself, I'm going to call this person on my way to work. And when I called them back on my way to work, they were not picking up their phone. And I was sitting in frustration thinking, I need to speak about this now. I don't like what this person said over the phone in the morning, so I just need us to iron out this thing now so that it's all sorted out. But what I didn't realize at that moment, I was still frustrated and I was still angry and I was still offended. And the Bible is very huge on this, that in your anger, do not sin. This is a caution that God gives every believer. And in me not being able to get through to them on the phone, this gave me enough time that I did not want, but actually was beneficial for me to process actually what happened and to ask myself a very fundamental and important question. Is this a big of a deal? Did this thing that this person do, or what this person did, or what this person said, is it a big deal? Or is it something that at that moment you felt that, you were justified in how you felt, but you didn't necessarily have the time to process the emotions? And as I was sitting there, obviously driving to work on my car and just having a time with the Lord, I realized that sometimes we often act from a place of emotion, and sometimes we want to address things in the immediate time they happen, forgetting that the Bible actually cautions us against this thing, to say, be slow when it comes to two things. One, be slow when it comes to speaking, and secondly, be slow when it comes to anger. These two things are things that we should always take time before we engage in. Before you respond to someone, be slow. What is the Bible saying? Process your emotions. Process every thought, filter every emotion, filter every thought, and ask yourself, am I over exaggerating this thought? Am I overreacting in terms of this emotion? Or maybe I'm justified in how I feel. Take time before you respond to someone who has offended you, and maybe you see an email or someone's just saying something that ticks you off. The most biblical and fundamental and even beneficial thing for you is to sit down an hour, 2 hours before you respond or before you say anything back, and actually process every single emotion and every single thought that was running in your mind when you read or when you heard that person say that thing initially. Because this affords you the time to respond with love. This affords you the time to respond with compassion. This also affords you the time to react from a place of godliness, that in my reaction, I don't want to lose God. In my reaction, I want to reflect Christ. And when I got to work, I realized this is not a big of a deal. We will obviously speak about what happened in the morning, but because I was slow to anger and I was slow to speaking, this actually made me more compassionate. This made me even more understanding, to say, I think I understand where this person is coming from. So that is a beautiful truth that God has written for us, to say in everything that we do, we should be slow to speak. That ultimately makes it slow or impossible for us to sin, because God has the issue that in your haste, response and reaction, in your emotions and anger, the temptation or the downfall of it is that you sin against the Lord. But in your anger, do not sin. Meaning, in your anger, be slow, process the emotions, think about it, show love, show compassion, and do not sin. Grace and peace.